All right, see if this works. I'm trying to stream with OBS right now, so I'm doing something a little different. So hopefully, there we go, I'm live. Okay, awesome. So I'll go live on Instagram to let people know. I'll tweet it. Let me know if there's something wrong with my volume. I'm going live really quick here on Instagram. Just letting you know that I'm going live on YouTube. So just go to my YouTube channel and you'll see the live stream. So I'm going to end it here on Instagram. And live video. Okay. Okay. So let me see if I can see the chat. Hey, there we go. Okay, it's working. Let me know if there's something wrong with my audio. I'm streaming on using OBS. I'm not using the usual Google Hangouts thing that I do. So let me know if everything's working. Hi everyone. You guys are like my regulars. Hi, what's up? I got this selfie stick thing. I was just trying this out too. Hi everyone. Audio's okay, good. How was your wedding? Wedding was awesome. It it was really great. You never know how these things are going to go because when you have so many people there, so many friends, it's kind of almost bound to have something bad happen, like no matter what, because some people complain about things, other people complain about different things, but it turned out really good. Can you create an MLM tree using JSON and Android? Probably not. Thank you. The wedding was great. Hi everyone. So before I answer any more questions, I want to talk about the reason why I'm making this live stream is I wanted to talk about what's coming up for my my paid courses for my website. And I've been talking a lot about, if you follow me on Instagram, you obviously know that I've been talking about kind of what I'm going to do next. And what I want to do is actually get into some web development stuff. I want to show you guys how to build like a very basic website using Python and Django. So it would be like how to register users, how to sign them up, how to update their basic information, how to query users, how to do all of this on a server. So basically you don't have to use Firebase. That's the point of this whole thing. So you can, if you it'll be perfect for freelancing basically. If you're a freelancer and you want to build something, you can, throw up a server, you can authenticate users, you can register users, all that kind of stuff using web development. And then after that, I want to show you how to build a REST API for the server. So just like in the food recipes app, so in the food recipes app on my website, we interacted with a REST API. So what I want to do is show you how to build your own REST API for the server so that you can build an app that interacts with that REST API. So if you learn how to do all of these things, it's a really kind of powerful combination because you can basically take on any sort of freelance project. You don't need Firebase. You don't need anything. Looks like there's some questions here. Do you mean you will teach how to make REST APIs with Python? Yeah. So you would. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. I'm just kind of getting over it. I got sick when I was traveling. So yeah, I would show you how to build the server itself and how to handle users and everything on the server, how to post information to the server. And this would be using Python and be using the web development framework for Python, which is named Django. That's what I use to build my website. My website's completely built using Python and Django. And Django's a really, really awesome framework. It just makes web development so easy. And Python as a language itself is also very easy. How about using PHP? I'm definitely not going to use PHP. I think PHP, there's nothing wrong with it really, but it's very old and there's just better options out there. Ayush says, when are you visiting me in India? As soon as possible. I don't know. I'm a busy guy because now now I got to do this web development course, which is it'll be completely new to me. So I'm expecting it to take a little longer than kind of my other courses. But yeah, I don't know. But sometime. I definitely want to make it to India because I know that there's a lot of people who. What's your question, Pemba? Looks like you're getting upset. Why not use Wicks for basic websites? I don't know what Wicks is. I'm assuming it's some kind of a website building software. Yeah, sorry. I'm just kind of cherry picking questions, but I'll answer your question. Yeah, Django's simple and powerful. So Wix, I'm assuming, is some kind of website building software. I'll just search it right now because I don't know what it is. Wicks. Let's see here. Create your website. Free website builder. Yeah, so this is a website builder. It looks like probably something similar to oh, what the hell is it called? My brain isn't working. WordPress. It's probably something similar to WordPress. So these kind of things, you're very limited to what you can do. At least with WordPress, you can only use certain plugins. Hey, if you want somebody to tell you about the pains that they go through with WordPress, ask Florian. So ask Coding and Flow, because he has a WordPress website and he always talks about how he wants to do this and he wants to do that, but it's such a pain in the ass because WordPress is very limited. Basically, you have like a tunnel of things that you can do and you can't go outside of that tunnel. But if you're using, do you stream on Twitch too? No, I don't stream on Twitch. But if you're using Python and Django, basically you're a web developer. You can build literally anything. You have all the power to do whatever you want, and that's what you want to be able to do. Because if you're using these website builders, you just don't have a lot of options basically. So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys web development. Basically, I'm going to show you how to use the same tools that I've used to build my website, which is CodingWithMitch.com. You'll be able to build anything at that point. And that's what I said at the beginning of the stream, that it's a really powerful combination for getting freelance projects. I'm having trouble keeping my throat clear. Still kind of getting over this cold. Because you can do anything. If someone comes up with a project, you can build the website, you can build the REST API for the website, and then you can build the app that interacts with the REST API. So basically, it's like instead of using Firebase, you're going to be able to put up your own server, build it however you want, whatever way you want, using an SQL database, because that's what we're going to use on the server. And then you can build a REST API to communicate with your server. And so you have an app, you have a website, you got it all. You got everything. And then if you really wanted to, you could very easily go to Upwork or some other, you could hire a developer, like an iOS developer, to build the iOS version, and you could just show him your URL endpoints for your REST API, and he can build the iOS version. Or if you know iOS development, then you can build it yourself. So it's just like, it's now that if you guys have been watching my Android stuff, my courses on my website, now we're getting to the point where if you've watched all my courses, you should be a pretty proficient Android developer. You know how to use Retrofit, you know how to use Dagger, you know how to do unit testing. It should be pretty easy for you, if you've watched all my courses, to get at least a junior level Android job. So now I want to take you guys to the next level, not only with Kotlin, so I want to start using Kotlin, but I want to show you guys how the web works. So how websites are built, how REST APIs are built. So these are going to be kind of the next tools for your tool belt, so you can get better jobs, you can get freelance projects, you can do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, now I'm going to answer some questions now that you know what this is all about. Wish I could expand this window. Can I take it out? So I'm just playing around with the UI that Facebook is giving me here. Oh, I screwed it up. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, is it possible that someone is good at Python and Android? Well, you're going to find out as soon as you see me build this course. It's what my website's built out of. It's built out of Python. Am I friends with Gabor? I'm assuming you mean Goobar.io. I think that's who you mean. We talk on Instagram sometimes. I wouldn't say we're pals. I wouldn't say we're enemies. We're just kind of acquaintances, I guess. Please make a video on how to use privacy checker. Probably not. Is there any chance you can use data structure and algorithms? Probably not. I don't like doing data structures and algorithm stuff. It's very, 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 very boring. Very boring. Hey, when will you make these videos so that I can pay for a subscription? So yeah, let's talk about the course structure a little bit. So the way I think I'm going to make this course is I'm going to do like a very basic introduction. So introduction to like Python, Django, web development in general. So I'll show you how to put up a server, how to register users, how to sign up users, probably how to build some kind of a blog posting functionality too. And that's going to be free. So I think I'm going to make that stuff free. I'm going to put that on YouTube. Then after that, I'm going to get into the more difficult stuff. Actually, that stuff's pretty difficult too. But either way, that's the beginner stuff. So I want to make it kind of free. So then after that, what I want to do is start building the REST API on the server. So this is literally setting up how outside sources can interact with the server. I'm really losing my voice here. So setting up how outside sources can interact with the website. That I think is going to be paid. So basically, it'll be like starting point. You'll get to build your server, introduction to Django and Python, probably some Bootstrap, that kind of stuff. Very basic though. And then start building the REST API, and that's where I'm going to start charging. So that's where you'll need to be a member on my website. That's where the paid content will start. And then after that, I'm going to build an app using Kotlin, so an app in Kotlin that interacts with that REST API. So it'll be basically similar to the MVVM retrofit course that I have, but instead of interacting with that food recipes API, that food recipes REST API, it's going to be interacting with the REST API that you've built on your private server. So, and then you can communicate with it, register users, post stuff, that kind of stuff. So now where was I? I just kind of went off on a bit of a tangent. When will you make these videos so that I can pay for? Yeah, that was that question. Okay. Mitch, could you tell us about how to use accessibility services to block URL visited in Android browsers? How to use accessibility services to block URL visited in Android browsers. I'm not sure what you mean, Manikiza. Maybe try wording it a different way and asking again. I'll see if I can get to that. How long will it go? It's going to be a pretty long. It'll be a long course. I don't really have a good estimation because I haven't done a Django or Python course before, but there's a lot to it. Like I wouldn't be surprised if just like the beginner part that I was talking about, so the part that's going to be free, where you're setting up your server, registering users, making blog posts, all that kind of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if that was 100 videos. I really wouldn't. So it's going to be quite long. The thing about it though is it should be quick, because there's just so much to do. I'm not going to script it very much. I'm going to have kind of a very rough outline and then just kind of bang out videos really quickly. So it'll be a lot of videos just because there's a lot of things to do, but it shouldn't take long for me to do. So, I mean, I think about a month. I think it should take like for me to make, I think it'll take about a month just to do that beginner portion, and then maybe a week to build the REST API, and then maybe 2 weeks to 3 weeks to build the app that communicates with the REST API. That would be my estimations. So, total project length is probably going to take me 2 months to build, but I'm going to release it in portions. You can kind of watch it as I complete it. Java versus Kotlin, which one is better for a new Android project? I don't know. It depends. Like I love Java. Kotlin's excellent too. I think Kotlin's the future just because it does like the way to put it is there's things that Kotlin can do that Java can't, but there's nothing that Java can do that Kotlin can't. Hopefully I said that right. There's nothing that Java can do that Kotlin can't, but there are things that Kotlin can do that Java can't. Yeah. So that's how it is. But my personal opinion is that you should learn Java first and then learn Kotlin, because then you know it all, and there's still tons of jobs out there in Java. So, and it's easier to go from Java to Kotlin. I think to go from Kotlin to Java would be like very difficult, very, very difficult. But going from Java to Kotlin is very simple. So that's kind of my answer there. What is the future for React Native? I've never personally used React Native, so I don't know. I know a lot of people still use it. So it's probably going to be around for a while, but Flutter seems to be kind of taking over the cross-platform development kind of area. But Flutter's still new. Like, you don't know what's going to happen with it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know is my answer to that question. I don't know. Whenever I'm trying to learn something new, like how I'm learning MVVM, each tutorial uses other advanced tools like Arcs, Java, Live Data, Dagger, data binding. Are these things interrelated? So I think it's all interrelated. Like all the things that you just named right there are things that you should know in general. Like if you want to get a job as an Android developer, you got to know architectures, whether it's MVVM, MVP, MVI, one of those architectures. You got to know RxJava. Basically, you won't make it past HR if you don't know RxJava. They're going to look at your resume and say, and look for RxJava. If you don't have it, they're going to throw your resume out. So you got to know it. Live data. I would say you don't need to know about live data, but I think moving forward you will because it's still pretty new. So yeah, but live data is part of MVVM, so that kind of goes with it. Dagger, yes. Again, I think Dagger is one of those things that if your resume goes to HR and they see that you don't know about Dagger, they're just going to throw out your resume. So definitely know about Dagger. Data binding is depends on if the company that you're applying for, or the team that you're working on uses data binding. But it's pretty simple. Like you could learn like everything you needed to know to be proficient in data binding probably in like a day or two. I have a course on Pluralsight about data binding that's very, very good. I've thought about putting it on my website, but or making one similar for my website, but I just haven't got to it. I want to do other things. So yeah, I mean, I guess to answer your question, yeah, you should probably know all those things, but you can't know everything. So if I was to put them in priority, I'd say MVVM architecture is my favorite. I think it's awesome. So MVVM and live data is probably what you want to know. Then RxJava, then Dagger. That would be my order. And then data binding, maybe. If the job where you were going to work use data binding, then yes. Thoughts about changing APIs in Android? Don't know what you mean by that. Maybe you could rephrase that for me. Which server will you be using? I'm going to be using DigitalOcean, the hosting provider DigitalOcean, to put up the server. This is maybe the first course I'll pay for. Peter Parker. It's going to be a good one. Like I said, if you guys have been watching my courses on my website, I've now covered kind of all of the basic Android stuff that you need to know to get a job. And now after this course, you're going to have a really good skill set. Like you'll have a really solid skill set. You'll understand, how to put up a website, how to register and manage a database on a website, how to then interact with that website using a web service or a REST API, and then how to build an app to do it. It's going to be good. Whether you want to freelance or you want to get a job, this course will really like bring everything together for you so that you'll know a lot of really cool stuff. And I really want to blow my nose here, but I don't want to blow my nose on video. So I'm just going to take a sip of water instead. Any plan to create a course on espresso? I do want to, and originally I kind of planned to probably do it after the unit testing course, but now I want to do the Python and Django one just because it just sounds more fun to me, and I like to do things that I like to do. So that's pretty much the answer to that. What is the best and easy way to learn Map API for Android, Google Map, or Mapbox? Read the documentation. Because there's not a lot of really good courses other than my Google Maps course out there. That's why I made it, because there really wasn't a lot of good courses. But the way I learned is just by reading the docs. As shitty as that sounds, that's how I did it. I don't think there's a good Google sample out there. So yeah, you're stuck with the docs. Sorry, pal. Would you do some work on ProGuard and or security? Maybe eventually. Right now, pretty much right now, have some hot water. Yeah, I should. I have some coffee, but coffee's making it worse, I think. It's like making me have phlegm. Sorry, I skipped your question. So ProGuard or security. At this point, I pretty much have tunnel vision at this point on the web development course and the upcoming course with Django, Python, and then building an app to communicate with it. But maybe, in a month or a month and a half, I'll start thinking about the next one. I have a bunch of things kind of on my mind. I want to do something with the architecture components, the navigation components. I'm starting to do a lot of Kotlin stuff now, so there's going to be all Kotlin. I want to do espresso unit testing or testing with espresso. There's lots of stuff that I want to do. So I don't know. I'm going to figure it out in a bit. There is a 3-year-old issue on Flutter on GitHub. It has not been solved. I don't know what you mean by that. Not sure. How much do I earn? So I won't tell you exactly how much money I make because I don't think that's really a good use, or I don't think it's going to help you. It doesn't help me. It doesn't help you. But I will say how I earn money and the percentages of where my income comes from. So last year I did pretty much 90% of my income came from Pluralsight courses. I think I made like 8 or 9 Pluralsight courses. So I was really just very focused on Pluralsight. I was neglecting my YouTube even, wasn't making much money other than Pluralsight. But this year I decided to go off on my own because I decided to say, I don't want to build Pluralsight's platform. I want to build my platform. So I rebuilt my website and started posting paid courses on my website. I have a membership now. So now basically it's switched. 90% of my income came from Pluralsight. Now 90% of my income comes from my website and doing subscriptions. And I was definitely making more money with Pluralsight, but over time, I hope as I, keep making high quality courses that I'll be able to live just off my website. So I took a big risk, but I think it will pay off at the end. Why RxJava is so important? I actually don't think it's that important, but all jobs do. So I think it's good to know, like, there's the operators that RxJava has are really excellent. Like, you can, manipulate things, variables, and the operators are awesome. That's what I would say. Just in general, the operators are really useful. And then the threading, you can say, oh, I want to do this thing on a background thread. I want to do this thing on the main thread and pass the things back and forth, apply operators. All that stuff is really cool. But like at the end of the day, you don't really need it, but you should know it. Like there's situations that it makes very, very simple that would have been very difficult. So yeah, I mean, my advice is learn it. Dagger is way harder to learn. If you learn Dagger, RxJava should be easy, I think. Will you create a course on Android Gradle manipulation? Probably not. Will you use a special database with Python and Django? I'm just going to use an SQLite database. SQLite databases are awesome. They're fast, they're compact. You get all of the advantages of using an SQL database. So you can use SQL-like queries, which is the big one. I know you can't do that with Firebase, and it pisses me off. It makes me want to strangle the Firebase developers. Why don't you have an SQL-like query? It's like the best type of query. It basically forces you to use something like Elasticsearch just because they don't have an SQL-like query. So yeah. So I love SQL databases. I think they're awesome. They're fast and they have lots of different functionality. How about Vue.js? I don't know anything about that. Mitch, have some hot water. I already read that. What are the topics which are important but advanced that you haven't made courses on? Unit testing with Espresso. You should know that. That's I think honestly that's like the only one. Like you should know. Like there's the topics that I've covered on my website. You could know more about, but I think that in general, the topics that I covered on my website are the ones, like they're the core fundamental ones that you need to get a job as an Android developer or build an app. Oh, I guess like design stuff too. I don't really have any sort of like UI design stuff, but again, depending on where you work, usually there's like a design guy. You don't have to necessarily know that, but definitely testing with Espresso. Sorry, I probably sound disgusting because I'm like sick. My throat's full of phlegm and shit. Can you close up on your whiteboard? I don't know if I can zoom my camera. I mean, all it is, I'll just turn and talk about it. All it is I don't actually write on this whiteboard very much anymore because I like write pencil lists now instead of like before I used to have this urgent and not urgent kind of section here, but I don't really use those anymore. The same thing's been there for a long time. On the right, I put tutorial ideas. So YouTube tutorial ideas. You can see that the 2 red dots are the ones that I have highest priority. So one of them says custom SQLite queries with Room. I haven't done that yet, but I want to do that because I haven't done anything ever on how to make custom queries with SQLite with Android. And then retrofit caching, why it's not very good. So I already made a video on that. So they're just tutorial ideas. I actually have another whiteboard over there. I don't know if you can see it. I'll pull up my OBS. Yeah, you can see it. So over there, that one's the one that gets regularly used, which is more of like reminders and things like that. All right. So okay, Pemba, you're restating this. I mean, Flutter apps once minimized or interrupted get reset. I mean, Flutter apps once minimized or interrupted get reset. Like you are typing something and you get a call. What you are typing is gone. They cannot remember their state like native apps do. I think what you're saying is when someone types something into a Flutter app and maybe you close it, it doesn't remember what you typed. I think. Oh, my lips are chapped too. Oh man, I'm in bad shape. I can feel the skin peeling. That's disgusting. Yeah, so Pemba, I'm not really sure again what you're asking. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know. Any thought on Angular? I haven't used it. I know a lot of people that use it. I have a personal friend of mine too who uses it for web development, and he says it's great. He loves it. Like, he absolutely loves it. He thinks it's the best thing he's ever touched. So yeah, and I know a lot of people use it. It's very popular. Can live data replace RxJava? In some circumstances, like the threading and things like that, because live data automatically does things asynchronously. But nothing I've ever seen can replace the RxJava operators. They're just excellent. There's like an operator for everything you can imagine, and it makes doing things that would have been otherwise very complex and a pain in the ass it makes them very easy. So yeah, the operators are where the power is. Any animation or UI design courses coming up? That's another one I don't really have anything on. I have some very minor animation stuff, but I don't really like doing animation stuff. I don't know. It doesn't really stimulate me, I guess. I'm more of like a back end architecture kind of guy, big picture guy. I don't really like UI design and animation, so probably not. I think live data is very limited as compared to RxJava. Um, I think yes and no. I think live data does things better than RxJava. Like, it can do it with less code. They're different. They're different. RxJava does have. I think the observable nature of live data is better than the observable nature of RxJava. But RxJava has the operators. They're awesome. Again, the operators of RxJava are just really awesome. As everyone is moving to Kotlin, does it make sense to spend time on learning libraries like RxJava and Dagger? Yeah, so that's a really great question. I still think, again, the RxJava operators are not. There's nothing like them. The RxJava operators are awesome, but in terms of asynchronous work, doing work on background threads, things like that, Kotlin coroutines is number one. Basically, the order. I'll give you the order. In terms of doing stuff on background threads, it'll be Kotlin coroutines is number one. Number two is RxJava background threading and stuff like that. Number three is using executors. And number four, which no one ever uses and you should never use ever again, is async task. Just forget async task even exists. Don't use it anymore. So that's the order. And then Dagger. Yeah, I mean, I think Dagger's worth knowing. I think Dagger's awesome, and you can use Dagger with Kotlin. So I don't. Maybe you're confused about that. Do you learn from any code labs? A lot of the code labs suck. Basically, Some of them are good. I think the view model one. I think it was the one that Florian went through in his MVVM course or view models course or whatever. That's a good code lab. There's a few good code labs, but most of them suck. Like the unit testing code lab, for example, is terrible. It's horrible. They go through leaps and bounds and they don't explain what's happening. It's basically worthless, I think. It might as well just be a Google sample. Like the code lab is not even worth looking at. You might as well just look at the Google sample. I just want to say thank you so much for all these live streams and podcasts. No problem. I enjoy doing podcasts. If I can make a career out of just podcasting, I would probably do it because I just enjoy it. I love just talking to people and getting to know really cool people. Do you have any apps on the Play Store? Nope. Does coroutines totally replace RxJava? Just asking. No. Coroutines can replace the asynchronous work that RxJava does, the threading, but not the operators. What is fundamental stuff should I learn before looking for your RxJava and Dagger tutorials? So go to my website, watch. I'm actually, after this live stream, I'm probably going to 10:30. I'm probably going to walk my dogs, eat lunch, and then I'm going to work on a learning path for CodingWithMitch.com. So, and that would actually answer your question. But to answer it right now, I would say work on the MVVM course, the first one, which is just with retrofit. Then do the database caching course, which is the second part. Then do the SQLite for Beginners 2019 course. If you haven't taken that, watch that first. So I'll restart. SQLite for Beginners 2019, MVVM and retrofit, database caching, Dagger, unit testing. Oh wait, no, I forgot RxJava. I'm restarting again. SQLite for Beginners 2019, MVVM with retrofit, database caching, RxJava. But the RxJava one, like, I don't think you should need to go through the whole thing. I don't even really necessarily think it's worth watching. It's more of a resource that you can look back on if you want more information about certain operators. So maybe even leave that one out and go into Dagger and then unit testing. And then in the Dagger course and also in the unit testing, I think in the unit testing course, I do certain RxJava things. So you should, if you get confused, go to the RxJava course and be like, oh, I wonder where I can get more information about that. That's how I recommend using the RxJava course. When and how did you get started with Android? I started, I don't want to tell the whole story, but I'll just do a point form. I started about 3.5 years ago, I think, and I said I want to learn how to program. So I started learning how to program. There's a longer version of that story. So ask me again sometime and maybe I'll tell you. I think I talked about it in, I did an interview on Simple Programmer. So if you go to Simple Programmer YouTube channel, I talked about how all that got started. So I have an interview on there you can check out. Is it web developer salary more than Android developers in general? I don't think so. I think Android, so two answers. I don't think so. Just based on my knowledge of salaries, I'm pretty sure that Android is higher. And then intuitively, with never mind anything that I know about salaries, I think Android would be higher because there's a lot more to know with Android. It's a very difficult thing to know because it keeps changing constantly. It's very hard to keep up with. So I think that Android developers intuitively are probably paid more. What about freelancing and Android development, like on Fiverr or Upwork? Should I do it or look for a job? It depends on what you want to do. Basically, you can freelance. I talked about this in my live stream with Vasily last time. Basically, if you can get work, you can freelance. If you can't, then you gotta go get a job. So that's really what it comes down to. Can you get jobs? Can you create some video on Dagger too? I have an entire course on Dagger. There's like 40 videos or something. So go to my YouTube channel or go on my website. I have an entire thing. Is it wise to move to Flutter? So I'm not completely sold on Flutter yet. I watch it closely. I watch to see what developers are picking it up, what developers are using it, what they're doing with it. I watch it pretty closely, I would say, because obviously I want to be the guy to start teaching it when it picks up speed. So everything I've seen makes it look like it's a real thing and it's going to be around for a while, but I'm still not completely sold on it. So until I don't know what the event is going to be that makes me completely sold on Flutter, but it hasn't happened yet. So I mean, I wouldn't move to it. I would focus on Kotlin and native development because every professional developer that I've talked to, every really good professional developer that I've talked to, they say that native is better and always will be better. So, I mean, take that for whatever it is. Should we switch to Kotlin? I already just answered that sort of. Who after Dawn? I don't know. I don't like to plan these interviews because I really only like to interview people that I think that I'm really interested in, that I think are really great at something or just like really cool people. So I'm not in a rush to look for more people to interview because I don't want to interview people that I'm not interested in interviewing. So yeah, I mean, whatever. I don't know. Maybe I've been thinking about reaching out to some of the guys on the Android team at Google, but like the guys on the Android team at Google, I don't think they would make very good interviews because they can't talk about the things that they work on. They can't talk about their processes at work. They can't talk about anything. So they're not allowed because of the stupid rules at Google. So I don't know if it'd even be a fun interview to do. So what I might do is I might reach out to some of these guys and just, ask them, hey, would you be interested in interviewing? If we did the interview, would you even be able to talk about things? So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. One more, make some videos on testing framework and make free and educate the world. I would love to make everything I do free, but unfortunately, as I explained near the beginning of this video, my website is how I make my living. So I think what I charge is like very, very, very reasonable. It's actually too cheap in my opinion, because if you look at what you pay for a university education anywhere, my subscription is so much cheaper. It's like be like 5% of the cost or lower, and you'll get a better education. And I know you'll get a better education because I have countless people who've gone to university for computer science or Android development or whatever development. They watch my courses and they're like, wow, I wasted 4 years of my life. Why didn't I just learn on YouTube? So yeah, at the end of the day, I would love to make them all free. If I was rich and I didn't have to like live, then pay to live, then I would make everything free because I like doing this. But I have to charge something so that I can pay my bills and I can keep doing this. Have you watched AOT S3? I don't know what that is. RX Java versus RX Kotlin. RX Kotlin isn't a thing, I don't think. It's just RX. There's RX Java and there's RX Android. And then Kotlin is a language. So if RX Kotlin is a thing, I didn't know it existed. Thanks for all your videos. My question is it possible to extract all code after it is obfuscated? Can you suggest the best Android obfuscator and library? I don't know anything about that. I'm not the guy to ask. I need another drink. I'm almost out of water. Well, when I run out of water, I have to go because my throat is not in good shape. I'm out. So I'll answer these final questions here. Is Kotlin coroutine equivalent to Java executors? Coroutines are better, in my opinion. I think you should use coroutines. I think, like I said earlier in the video, the order would go coroutines, RX Java, executors, async task. So that's the like order of best to worst. Do you think it's better to get deep understanding of Kotlin first or have a basic understanding and learn more as I go with Android? I'm always an advocate of jump into the pool even if you can't swim and learn to swim as you go. So I think you should. I don't think having a deep understanding of Kotlin. No, I think you should jump in and try and do things and try and build things and then just learn it as you go. How can we bind a service to fragments instead of activity? Do you have a separate video? No, I don't. Who are the most viewers of your content, Canadian or Indian? By far Indian. I think it's Indian. Indian's like 30 or 40%. So that's huge. 30 or 40%. And then the US, the United States is about, I don't know, I think it's like 10%. Canada is like 4%. And then there's the rest of the world. There's like, 1% here, 1% there, 1%, it's scattered. I think, yeah, I mean, that's rough, but like that's generally how it is. India's like up here. The US is like here, Canada, and then everything else is like bottom, like nothing there. Do you think Android native will get replaced by Flutter? At this point, no, I don't think so, but that could change. And I've talked to a lot of professional Android developers, and they don't think so either. They think Android native will never go anywhere. So cheap, yes, it's amazing value. How much do you make a month doing what you do in Canadian? I don't, like I said at the beginning of this video, I don't think it's useful for me to talk about the money that I make. Go up to the earlier in this video, I talked about money a little bit. Very good. Do you have any plans to further Kotlin and maybe coroutines? Yes, 100%. Like I'm going to do this website course with Python and Django. Then we're going to build an app that communicates with it through a REST API. And I'm going to build the app using Kotlin. So you're going to get to see coroutines. The whole thing will be built using Kotlin. So there will be inevitably coroutines in there. Did you work with Android paging library? Yes. Paging library sucks. It's like, well, okay. Sorry. It doesn't suck. It does the thing it's supposed to do, but it's so complicated. Like it's way too complicated. If you just watch my MVVM with retrofit course, you'll see me implement pagination. Very simple. There's a loading animation. It's 10 view pagination, and it's simple. It's so easy to set up. You try and set up the paging library. you're going to do exactly what you just said in your comment. You'll end up banging your head against the wall. So I would say don't use the paging library, and that's why I'm not doing any videos on it, because it's too difficult. Where did the rest of the world learn Android from? I have no idea. Possible to bind service to, well, probably coding and flow. The rest of the world learns, if they're not learning from me, they're learning from Florian. That's where they learn. Possible to bind a service to a fragment. Oh, it's been a while since I did anything with services. I don't know the answer off the top of my head. Oh, well, I mean, a service you can pop up. Can you? Okay, so you're asking if you can use the, what's it called? The what the hell is it called? That binding thing, the binder. I can't remember the name. I don't. I think you just need you need a client. It's a client service. It's a client service thing. You have you put up the server, you put up the service that acts as the server running, and then you can bind things to it. What could you bind a fragment to it is your question. It doesn't matter. I think inevitably it has to be an activity that binds to it, because activities inherit their context from activities. So I don't know 100%, but probably not. Like just logically thinking that through, being able to bind a fragment to that as a client doesn't really make sense, because it gets its context from an activity. So probably not. Do you regularly come for live chats? No, not regularly. I just got back from vacation. I got married. For those of you who don't know, there's my ring. And I wanted to talk about what's coming up next on my channel. Some videos on Android designing supporting multiple varieties of device. Probably won't do that. Thanks for, hey, it's Coding and Flow. Always coming in here trying to steal my subscribers. That's how his channel got so big, by the way. He always comes into my live streams, and I'm so tan. What are you talking about? I'm looking at myself right now. I'm very tanned. If I stood next to you, you'd look like a ghost. But you're right. In this light, I don't look tanned. Might be because I have this light on. There we go. That looks more tanned, but still not that tanned. Let's see. Okay, I have to go. But you guys, as soon as I get close to the bottom, you guys start asking more questions. What's the best way to make backend system for an Android app? Yeah, so that's what I'm going to teach you in my next course. I'm going to teach you how to build that backend system, build a website on a server, and you'll be able to build a custom backend system without having to rely on Firebase. And that's going to be using, you can use Node, you can use Java, but I'm going to be using Python Django, the web development framework for Python, which is named Django. And it's a really powerful framework. It makes web development very simple. You can get a lot done with not a lot of code. Thanks for so hello Mitch. First of all, thanks, congratulations on your wedding. It would be best if you can make a simple retrofit with RxJava example for networking. You should watch my oh, you're right, I don't have any simple examples. The only examples that I have are in the Dagger course and the unit testing course, if there's even any in the unit testing course. I can't remember, but Dagger for sure. There's retrofit RxJava for networking. Is it networking? No, it's local. So never mind. I don't have an example, because in the database caching course I used executors. So maybe I will. Maybe I will write that on my board. RxJava retrofit RxJava networking example. Maybe I will do that. You know what? I will write that on my board right now, live. Java networking. There. It's been written on the board. You witnessed it. Oh, stop asking questions. I need to go. Can you build an Instagram clone again? Hell no. Hell no. It's too big. It'd take me 6 months to do it like properly. No. No. I think we can bind a fragment. Actually, we can. Cool. Go bind your fragment. And in Twitter too. Hi, Coding Flow. When are you hosting a Q&A? Florian, you should just put a bag over your head and turn the camera on and answer questions. Get one of those like those voice changer things too. Which is the best platform to make a WooCommerce cross-platform app? I don't know. Best platform to make a WooCommerce. Yeah, I don't know. When I hit 1 million. Oh, yeah, when he hits 1 million, which is going to be probably next year at this rate, he'll maybe end of next year, he'll do a face reveal and he told me he'll come on a live stream with me. Mitch, do you play video games? Am I following E3? My friend is a big console guy, so he's following E3. So he tells me about it, but I don't play console games at all, but I do play some computer games. Not much anymore. I think all computer games kind of suck right now. There's nothing that really interests me. I played Dota 2 for, I don't know, since it came out, since the beta, but I don't even really play that anymore. Do we have room for OK HTTP? Well, that's retrofit. Retrofit uses OK HTTP. Backend with PHP? Nope, won't do that. Actually, I knew you because of Coding and Flow. Yep, thank you both. We're both cool dudes. You see Florian and all excited as like every time. Yeah, because he always comes in here and steals my subscribers. So I'd rather be. I'm trying to hide my anger, so I smile. Mitch, are you earning enough to live out of making tutorials? Now I am. I'm earning enough to pay my rent and buy food and do regular things, phone bill, gym, that kind of stuff, but nothing excessive. Is anyone doing an Android app Java backend, or is it even good? People do that, but I'm not going to do it. Woohoo, thanks man for such a great response. You're welcome. I don't know what I responded to. I've seen your shirt. Are you a fan of Dota? Yeah, like I said, yeah, you got the answer already. League of Legends is better than Dota 2. I don't think so. I think League of Legends is like Dota's little baby sister. It's very easy compared to Dota, I think, but I haven't played a lot of it, but that's kind of how I feel about it. Yeah, Florian is only doing marketing here. Yeah, he's coming in here and he's marketing. This is branding for him. Do you play PUBG mobile and Android? I don't play PUBG. Actually, I do. I did play Apex. I still play Apex a little bit, but they haven't really been updating their game, so I haven't been playing it very much. Do you use an Android phone? Yes, I use a OnePlus. I think OnePlus is the best company out there today. I was gonna buy a Huawei, but not anymore since you can't like use one in North America basically. Hi, which library is efficient for local database, Room or Realm? I would use Room. When did you work out last time? Even though your icon is droid with such a great body, I work out usually 5 days a week. Yesterday was the last time I went. I'm gonna go later today. What will be the scope of the home automation app? I don't know really what that question is. I think what you're asking is, will there be home automation apps? Yes, there already is. Will you do some videos about MVP? I thought about it, but I like, there's nothing wrong with MVP. A lot of developers use MVP, but I just personally like MVVM. It just feels better to me. I don't know. There's no analytic reason why. I just like it better. Do you know how to record backend HTTP requests from native apps? Backend HTTP. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to be showing you in my course. I'm going to show you how to build a server, how to set it up, register users, all that stuff, and you'll be able to do that from the native Android app that we're going to build using Kotlin. So you can, literally log into the app and register a user on the server using the app. So that's what I'm assuming you're asking. Dota 2 versus Mobile Legend. Never played it. You should check out Cyberpunk 2077. I don't know what that is. Probably won't. Probably already got asked, but you plan on doing Kotlin core routine? Yes. So like I said, the next course, we're finally done questions. No more questions, by the way. I'm going to go now. Like I said, the next course, I'm going to be building the server, then building an app to communicate with the server. That's going to be done using Kotlin. So yes, there will be coroutines in there. Where am I from? I'm from British Columbia, Canada, which is the west coast of Canada. Damn it, stop asking questions. Can we prevent reverse engineering an Android application? Yes, there is. I don't know the name of it, but there's something that basically like scrambles your code when you put it up onto the App Store. So it's like, even if they, what's it called? Decompile it? Is that what you call it? Decompile it? When you take the app and decompile the APK, I think that's what it's called. So they get the code, it looks scrambled to them, so they don't really know what's going on. It's very confusing. Using Coin, do you plan tutorials with Coin? Maybe, we'll see, because I'm going to start Kotlin now, so I might do Coin later on. No, I don't know Cyberpunk 2077. Yeah, ProGrad, I think, is the name of the thing. Goodbye. Go drink water. This is the last question. Yes, yes, you're the best. Okay, bye. I'm going to eat lunch, drink some water. Thanks for watching. What do I want to say at the end of this? Yeah, so the next course, it's going to be building a website using Django and Python. I'm going to build a REST API for it, and then we can build an app to communicate with that REST API in that website. I'll see you in the next video. How do I end this?